Hi everyone, this is Neha and welcome to my new channel. And today marks the first episode of this new series called Ask Open Source, where we'll be discussing everything and anything related to open source. Today the topic that we're going to be discussing about is something that I personally have received a lot of queries about, and it's about how to start your own open source journey. And there are people who are already a bit well versed with open source, and now they're looking to contribute to open source programs like GSOC or Outreach. So this video is not for them. This is meant for someone who's trying to break into this open source world, and how to select organizations if you want to contribute as a completely newcomer, beginner. You have absolutely no idea about how to proceed with it. So what are the 4 things that you should take into consideration when you have to choose these organizations? So let's get started. Alright, the first point I'll be addressing is beginner-friendly issues. So what I mean by beginner-friendly issues is that the issues that are tagged with labels like first-timers only, beginner-friendly, good first issue, easy fix. These are all issues that are targeted at beginners, and usually the organizations which have a good number of these issues, I would suggest you to go for such organizations. Point number 2 is the pull request review / merge time. And what I mean by this is that usually when you found an organization, they have a beginner friendly issue, you contribute to this issue, you open a pull request, but it's taking a significantly longer amount of time for the PR to get reviewed or the PR to get merged. And usually what happens is that if this process takes a really long amount of time, a beginner can kind of get demotivated and might not be that excited to continue working towards the open source journey. And that is why I would definitely suggest you to go for organizations which have relatively less amount of time that it takes for review or for a merge, that have a good amount of contributors or community leaders, community maintainers who can come and review your pull request or merge your pull request if no changes are required. So a good way to look for this is to look in the pull request tab, and you can see the different pull requests. You can see like from how long are they pending, have they received at least a single review, and are the maintainers active, are the community members active. So getting a good idea, a good sense of this can really help you choose the organization that can help to start your open source journey. Now point number 3 is going to be community engagement. So what I mean by community engagement is how active are the different communication channels that are provided by the organization. So for every organization, there are a number of different channels with which they communicate. So it can be GitHub, it can be Slack, it can be some other tool that they're using. And what you can do is just have a gauge about how active are the community members to answer the queries of people, and if you ask something, how long will it take for them to get back to you, or if there are certain repos that you are interested in, you can just go ahead and ask them if there's some work that you can work on, some pending issues or anything, and if they can redirect you there. Then these all are signs of good organizations with very active community base, and it can really help you get started with your open source journey. Point number 4 is a very different sort of a point. It's called the variety of issues. And what I mean by this is that usually all the contributors that are contributing to open source, they are not just contributors working with code. Open source requires a huge number of contributions from different things. So this can be documentation, this can be design, this can be translations, this can be even discussing, like if you can just put forward a point about why you think that this solution can be better than this solution, propose a feature that can help make the app better. So all these are different ways in which a contributor can contribute. So if the organization has a variety of issues, it really opens up and allows the beginner to start. If they're not that comfortable with coding, then they can go ahead with documentation. If they're not that comfortable with documentation, they can go ahead with design. So depending on their skill set, they can choose to work with a variety of different categories that they can work towards. And I think that would definitely be a really good point for new contributors to begin the open source journey. So these were the 4 points that I personally feel are something that you should look out for when you are starting your open source journey and you wish to contribute to an organization. I'm thinking of making another video about some beginner-friendly organizations which fulfill the criteria that I have discussed today. And please let me know if this video is of value to you. Haven't said this before, but please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And yeah, I'll just keep posting more such stuff about open source. Open source is something that I'm really passionate about. And if you haven't started your open source journey yet, I would highly encourage you to do so. So that's all for this video. Thank you. Bye bye.